Today I want to talk a little bit about what goes into grooming the ski hills up at Big Hill. It's an all-volunteer process, and most of our volunteers work full-time jobs and will go up after work and put in about 3 hours of grooming. And this occurs anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty daunting task to get off work, head up, oftentimes in the dark, get hooked up and sit by yourself on a snowmobile for 3 hours driving 10 miles an hour, hoping you don't get stuck. So I'll show you a little bit of that and then talk a little bit about where we're at and what we need from the community to make sure that we can continue to provide these opportunities. Mohair. Today we're going to have a little bit of a different track. We're going to look at some cross-country ski grooming. I'm involved in the biathlon with the South Dakota National Guard, and since becoming involved with that, have been more heavily involved in our local cross-country ski community to a point where now I'm the president of the Black Hills Nordic Ski Club, which operates out of Black Hills National Forest outside of Spearfish. We have a fairly decent sized group of volunteers and some grooming equipment that the club owns, and we have a contract with the Forest Service to groom certain trails during the winter months, and so volunteer labor is required for that to occur, and we'll have just some rotations. People sign up for grooming on the calendar, and then there's certain weeks that no one signs up for, and folks will fill in during those times, and this is one of those times, and I am filling in the empty slot on the calendar for this week. So we're gonna head up to the ski hills, or ski hill, and go do some cross-country ski grooming. So the truck says it's 12 degrees up here. That's some pretty good temperatures for grooming. Anything below freezing is not too bad. The goal of grooming is twofold. Number one is compression, and number two is reforming the bonds of the snow. So different grooming equipment does different things. A lot of grooming equipment is solely about compression. However, we have a nicer piece of grooming equipment called the Ginsu from Yellowstone Track Systems that will turn up the snow, breaking up the bonds, and then compress the snow again. And then over time, in these cold temperatures, the snow will freeze together and reform new bonds in its compressed state, which causes longevity of the snowpack as well as a firm surface to ski on, which that firm surface is the real goal. So we'll go ahead and walk out there. I'll show you some of the equipment, and then I'm gonna get off grooming. So it's Thursday night. Just got off work maybe an hour ago, probably a little less than that. And up here grooming. It's probably 4:10, 4:15 right now. Just letting the snowmobile warm up and walk you through some of the equipment that is essential to grooming. So we've got an older drag here. What drags do is they churn up the snow and then compress it. They're pretty heavy. Pretty good tool for grooming, but not necessarily the preferred method anymore. They're really good for planing trails. Here's a narrower drag. Call it the blue drag, green drag, probably for obvious reasons, unless you're colorblind, in which case, sorry about that. Just a sled over here, no big deal. Made for pulling behind a snowmobile. There's our snowmobile right here. It's old, does okay. Hopefully we'll get a new one this year. That's the goal. So roller made for compressing snow, fresh snow. We've got a fair amount this week, 6 inches so far, and more to come. This is an ocean. And then this is our nicest piece of equipment. It's called a Ginsu, made by Yellowstone Track Systems. It's got hydraulically operated teeth that turn up the snow, and then the drag itself weighs a fair amount, so it's good at compression. and then our classic track setter, which is also hydraulically raised and lowered. So between those tools, we're able to groom the ski trails here. Most of our volunteers will come up here after work and groom until it gets dark out, which, as you can see from the sun over there, is not super late. Probably get dark at 5 or 6 these days, but groom until the dark, and or into the dark, I'd say, until all the trails are done. And so that's a huge deal for our community, be able to have the ski trails, and the volunteers that come up here and groom are hugely important to making sure that that's able to continue to happen. So I'll catch you out when we're doing some grooming on the snowmobile. So here's some unconsolidated powder. Just running it over with the snowmobile. Roller and the track setter doing its work. Try to get some footage on the way back around of the end result. I think that's it for today. Maybe I'll catch you later at the house, but I'm gonna focus on getting this stuff done before it gets too dark out. As it stands, it's probably getting a little dim out to record video anyway. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found the grooming video enlightening as far as what goes into making sure we've got our ski trails usable for the general public. If you're interested in helping groom, and I know that there's been a couple people who have sent us information with regards to that, we're hoping to put on a grooming clinic soon as the weather improves just a little bit, gets warmer, and to the point that there's a good amount of snow on the ground for learning how to groom on. Also, thanks to folks who donated at the Finer Things charity event that was in the pavilion at the Spearfish Park. Thanks to the folks who donated money on the items that we put out there in the auction, and thanks to the people who provided those items: Spearfish Strength and Cycle, Clay Dykstra, who did some cool ceramic stuff for us, Black Hills Helicopter, and Daily Adventure Coffee Company. Also, big thanks to everyone who's provided their time and money this year at our events and helping us to make sure that we can continue to provide this service to the community. We're about $10,500 in our $13,000 quest to get a new snowmobile. And to be realistic, we probably need to end the season at $16,000 in order to make sure that we're financially solvent going into next year. If you're interested in donating to Black Hills Nordic, please follow the link below, and we will see you next time.